when we're young, we tend to have a very high opinion of what we can achieve. When we're in school, high school, grade school, middle school, whatever, we see what other people have done, we think, well, we can do that. It's no big deal. In many cases, we are looking at things from a perspective that's very skewed from the information that we have, and we think we can achieve almost anything. And the truth is that we can achieve almost anything if we want to. Circumstances do play a role, but we can create our own circumstances. We have many opportunities to do almost anything that we want to do. But here's the problem. We underestimate the difficulty of what we want to do. And when we underestimate the difficulty, then we underprepare. We don't work hard enough. We don't study hard enough. Because we don't realize exactly how much it actually takes to do what we want to do. Almost anything that you want to do in life is hard. You want to go out here and mow the yard. Well, it doesn't matter how you slice it, it's hard. You got to get a mower, you got to get a weed eater, you got to get a blower, you got to either get an edger or edge with a weed eater and try to keep from throwing rocks and busting the window out. It doesn't matter how you do it, it's hard. Trim the shrubs, you got to have a hedge trimmer, you got to figure out some way to clean up the clippings. There's many ways of doing it. I'm a landscape professional, have been for many years. So I'm using that as an example. But it doesn't matter what it is. You want to play an instrument? I mean, you name something that you want to do. It's hard. And to get good at something is really hard. I mean, it's a huge accomplishment. That is what we all strive to do, is get good at something, get known for it. And so many times we let greed and pride get in the way of achieving the goals that we really want to achieve. But sometimes we set out and we're making good progress. Whatever it is we're trying to do, we're making decent progress on it. And then we hit a roadblock, or we realize the vast scope of work that we have to do, and we just give up. And we say, yeah, that's too hard. I'm going to do something else. And so we pick something else that we want to do. And when we finally start getting decent at it, we realize just how much we've got to do, and so we say that's too hard, so we go into something else. And we repeat this cycle through so many things in our life without staying on one thing long enough to actually get good at it. Because to be able to do something is a great accomplishment, but the difference between being able to do something, between being able to, for instance, play an instrument and do it well, is unfathomable. There's a universe between being able to do something and being able to do it well. But even though I say there's a universe, there's less distance than we think. Because if we would stay consistent with what we do, although it's a very daunting task, it can be done. And although I'm not trying to minimize what it takes to do it, Because if we did that, if it was easy, then it wouldn't be great. Anything that's easily attained is not special. It's not valuable. It's not set apart. So you don't want it to be easy. It's like if you win the lottery, nobody's going to respect you for being able to make your own way in the world. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of money, but that's not an accomplishment. That's simply luck of the draw. And that's not something that anybody respects. Although, I think if you do win the lottery, you can use it to leverage and help you do something meaningful instead of just blowing it all. But we tend to give up so easy on what we set out to do without staying in it long enough to reap the full benefits of it. When if we would stay in it long enough to actually get exceptional, an exception to the norm. This guy, he does this, and he's exceptional at it. This girl, she does this, and she's exceptional at it. No matter what it is. We would be known for our craft. Let me use cosmetology as an example. Imagine if you had somebody that you knew could cut your hair exactly like you wanted it cut. They were so good. And those people are rare. There's people who cut hair on every corner. I mean, you go anywhere. Everybody's a photographer. Everybody and their dog is a photographer nowadays. They go to get them a camera and a MacBook and get some software, Adobe editing software, and they're all of a sudden a photographer. Well, there's photographers, and then there's photographers, okay? There's cosmetologists, and then there's cosmetologists, okay? And you know what I'm talking about. When you find somebody in this world who knows what they're doing, does an exceptional job, you tend to stick with those people. You build a relationship with those people, and you will fight to keep it. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Like, for people who own a business, a landscaping business like I do, or any kind of business that utilizes a lot of physical equipment, brick and mortar establishments, whatever. Finding people that can help you maintain your property, your equipment, your buildings, your everything. When you find somebody, bugs on me. When you find somebody that can maintain your property, for instance, a mechanic who can fix your equipment and fix it right, where you don't ever have to fix it again, I mean, for like a really long time, and they know what they're doing, and they're 100% honest with you, and you can trust them behind your back. You know they're going to do what they say they'll do. They're going to always be upfront with you about everything, and they're, besides that, excellent in their work and knowledgeable, able to think outside the box, willing to keep an open mind and get exactly what you want. Those people, come on, those people are invaluable. You would cut off your right arm before you'd part ways with those people. I mean, you beg those people to stay around. So what am I saying? I'm saying they're exceptional. Now, why are they exceptional? They weren't always exceptional. Although we try to romanticize things and say people are born with some particular gift. Well, people are born with particular strengths and weaknesses. But anybody who's exceptional at what they do, it's because they have a passion for it. And not only do they have a passion for it, but they have cultivated that passion. They have worked behind the scenes more than you would ever dream. People who are good at playing an instrument have practiced more hours than you could imagine. And they know things just through experience. Although we as humans like to put people on a pedestal and say, well, they were born with it and God gave them that gift. Well, whatever, man. Yeah, people who are good at something have worked themselves to get there. And why am I telling you this? To discourage you? No, I'm telling you this because I want to encourage you to not give up on your true purpose, what you love in this life. The gifts that you have, don't give up on them. Cultivate them. And don't trade that for some kind of cheap, quick money, whether it's doing a job you hate, whatever. Don't trade it, man. Obviously, if we take on responsibilities, we have a family, we have to take care of them, obviously. I'm not saying neglect your responsibilities, but I'm saying do not give up what you want to do. Because what else do we have to do in this life? If we're not going to make a mark in one particular area in which we love and leave a legacy, what else are we supposed to do? Go to work and do something we hate and come back, barely have enough money to get by, watch TV, watch somebody else do something you wish you were doing, watch somebody else live the dream that you wish you could live. I'm here to tell you, you can live that dream. But you have to get exceptional at something. Because that exceptionality in whatever that is that you love is the ticket. It's the mothership that's going to take you to the next level. You have to have a ticket. You have to have an entry code. Okay? You have to have something to ride in on. For musicians, they ride in on a song. Like that song by George Strait, Troubadour. But you've got to have something to get in the door. Okay? Of exceptionalism. And when you start getting just a little bit better than most, and you keep on going, then you start rising into the ranks of exceptionalism. And the farther you go, the more you will stand out. And that's when you will become encouraged. But it's not going to be an easy road. You're going to try, and you're going to try again, and then you're going to try again. And you're going to fail, and people are going to talk trash about you. People are going to run you down. They're going to be jealous of you. They're going to try to sabotage you. And if they're not, you know you're really not doing it. You're not meaningful enough yet. You're not exceptional enough yet. But once you start getting exceptional, my friend, people are going to start getting jealous of you. Because you're doing something that they wish they had done. And it's even going to infuriate them more if they grew up in the same town as you, if they went to the same school as you. If your significant other is their ex, or if they're your ex, and they see you exception, boy, that is going to tick them off. They are going to get royally mad at you. But really, they're not mad at you. They're mad at their own self. And that's what infuriates them even more. And they're going to try to sabotage you. They're going to talk trash about you. They're going to run you down. They will do almost anything to try to bring you down to their level. Jealousy is a very strong force. And do not ever forget that. Don't ever underestimate that. They will be nice to your face. They will come up and give you a hug, and when they put their arm around you, they're going to stab you in the back, okay? Figuratively speaking. Hopefully not literally. But they are going to try to bring you down. All while having a smile on their face if they are smart people. The smarter they are, the more that cordial they will be, because smart people are always cordial when they're in your presence. especially in the South where I'm from. But you got to keep going, man. You cannot give up, okay? It's going to be hard. And really the point of this video that I want, the original idea that I had when I turned the camera on is this. Sometimes you have got to retreat from the spotlight. You're going to try. You're going to see that it is possible what you want to do. But now is not the time to make your debut, okay? It's like Michael Jackson. He made an album and left the spotlight for a long time before he came back. 50 Cent, so many artists, so many people, they knew that they were getting too big too quick and it was fixing to blow up. It's that way with almost anything. So you got to retreat for a little while. Go back to the drawing board. Consider your next chess move. And then when the time is right, you got to strike quick. You got to be ready. Because the right time will come. And the difference between whether you make it or you don't make it depends on this one thing. Were you prepared? So you got to go back to the drawing board. If you're a musician, you got to practice. You got to learn new songs. You got to write songs, whatever. If you're in a business, you got to strategize your next business move. And then when the time is right, you strike. And you do not worry about haters. Because the more successful that you get, the more haters that you are going to accumulate. They're like a parasite that follow you around and nag at you. Critics, whatever you want to call them, paparazzi, whatever. But they're out there, okay? And anybody who ever gets to that rank of exceptionalism is going to have haters. Hopefully you have less haters than more haters, but you are going to have haters. And you're going to realize that there's some people that you're going to have to keep at an arm's length. Even though you love them so much, you got to keep them at an arm's length, because if you get too close to them, they are going to wreck your life. Their negative energy is going to bring you down. And you could say, well, I'm strong and I'm not. My friend, do not ever underestimate the power of peer pressure. The people who you hang around have an unfathomable amount of influence over you. People who you spend the most time with. So you got to be extremely careful who you spend time with. You're much better off to make friends who are up above you and get closer to them. But even a lot of times you got to keep them at an arm's length, because if they see you as a threat, they'll sabotage you. Not out of jealousy, because they've already exceeded you, but out of fear, because they see you as a threat to their power, to their influence, to their superiority over you. So you've always got to come across to those people as inferior to them, as their apprentice. Okay? If you come across as somebody who's better than them, which you very well may be better than them. For instance, let me give you a good example here. Eddie Van Halen. When Eddie Van Halen hit the scene in the mid-70s, he was unlike anything the world had ever seen before on the guitar. Nobody had ever seen anybody even do anything close to what he did. With all his tapping and all those new techniques, I don't know where in the world he came up with that stuff, but he brought in a completely new wave of music, and everybody all of a sudden wanted to be like him. Well, what did that do to the older people that had come before him? You know, well, they were jealous of him. Not so much jealous because they had already made their mark. They were household names, but they saw him as a threat to their seniority. And so they didn't like it. So he had to do a lot of backpedaling in order to gain their favor. But he still ended up being probably the single most innovative guitar player of all time, arguably. So you've got to be careful on all realms. You've got to be careful how you treat people. That's why it's good to think before you speak. Think before you take action, before you get mad. Don't be ruled by your emotions when you're dealing with people. When you're doing art, you've got to be ruled by your emotions to make music that is emotional and connects with people. But when you're doing in social situations, in business, you can never get emotional with people. You've always got to remember the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Because anytime that you start trying to outshine the master, you're going to get him on your bad side, and it's not going to help you. So, I'm saying all this to try to encourage you to pursue your dreams. Please pursue your dreams. And don't give up when it starts to get hard. But also, do not underestimate the difficulty of the journey.